Hello everyone, Cindy Saddleman here with another edition of the home game, and this is it. The final Sega Genesis game in our journey. It has been emotional, and we've had some really good adaptations. Feud was good, all three Jeopardy games were good, Wheel of Fortune was alright, but now we get to one of the worst game show adaptations, and that is American Gladiators for the Sega Genesis. Now, this was released in 1992, arguably at Gladiator's peak in America. This was near the tail end of Season 3. Everything was coming up Gladiators. They had everything. These video games. You know what? Just give me a second. They've had... When I said they had everything, they had absolutely, positively everything. As I get into my thing of goodies. And when I say everything, I mean everything. On my wall is a Nitro action figure from '92. American Gladiators lunchboxes. They had trading cards. They had a Garbage Pail Kids thing. They even had a tape or CD of the Gladiators theme and event music, also with a lot of other songs as well. Oh yeah, and the thermos to go with the lunchbox. Like, I might, if I do get hired again, I might just be silly and bring the American Gladiators lunchbox. Just to be insane. Wait a minute, I'm taking a look at this. Holy crap. I'm re-looking at this thing. This was brand new 93. If anybody remembers Music Center, they were selling this for $10. This tape sold for $10. Anyway. Just thought that was interesting to show. Anyway. Maybe I'm just putting off doing this. But here it is. It's the last Sega Genesis game. And I kind of want to go out on a bang. Oh, my Retron shut off for some unknown reason. Because I didn't turn it off. Anyway. I did a review like 10 years ago. I think it was 2014. 10 years ago, I did a review of Gladiators for the Super Nintendo. I've also played the Genesis version before. I will say this is missing one event. The Genesis version is missing one event, and that's Human Cannonball. I don't know how they were going to do it without... because Super Nintendo used Mode 7 for it. I wouldn't know how to figure out how to get Human Cannonball to work for the Genesis. So... it's 6... So you get 6 events and the Eliminator. And as I try to find the remote for the TV, because there it is. We're doing this live, folks. We're doing this live. Alright. So, unknown cart. Probably didn't go in all the way. There it is. American Gladiators, and away we go. Or not. Because it usually just boots up. We're experiencing technical difficulties. We'll be right back. Alright, we're trying this again. We're back, and it should work now. And no music. There it is. So you go tournament or head-to-head. If you play head-to-head, you play against another player. Tournament is you actually play through quarterfinals, semis, and finals. I think that E is a glitch. So I got assault against ice. Well, that didn't work. So you gotta hold the aim. So B to enter, C to grab the weapon. Yeah, got it! Outer rim, 5 points. So it's 1 point for each weapon scored and 5 for nailing the gladiator. So, joust. So the controls in this are weird. Like, if you hold up and... So it's... You gotta hold up and right. Like... And ice is backing off, but I managed to pull it off. Like, on the controller, you gotta do up, right, and B in order to hit up. Left and B to hit down, and down and B, and this left, down, and B to actually do anything. So, now is the wall against Zap. So, I gotta hit on the side. I got it. No. Yeah, I got it. 5 points. It's just the angles and everything with the Genesis are kind of wonky. Okay, Atmosphere. Thankfully, I don't need to do button mashing. It's just go over there, put sphere in thing, and get point. And unfortunately, this is the debut season of Gladiators, so you gotta let it settle a little bit. No, it doesn't work because I already activated. I activated that one before. And she got the 7 before time ran out. She actually got to settle. So 13-point lead going into Powerball. So I think it's B to grab the ball, B to deposit the ball. And you gotta avoid the gladiators. How did I miss? I just got biffed hard at the end. Yeah, so it's 5 events in the Eliminator. There's no Human Cannonball. There's no Hang Tough. No Breakthrough and Conquer. Oh, it's... You gotta do A and C. And just... keep on mashing A and C. So I gotta do it like this. You gotta keep on doing it like this. I'll choose 3. Gladiator, whatever. I don't care. I win. That is annoying. It doesn't help that it's the same music loop constantly. Like, there are no other songs. At least the Super Nintendo version had different songs. They weren't great. They weren't good, but they were different. The Super Nintendo version had the same thing. And it was painful. It's painful now, and it was painful back then. Now I'm kind of glad they didn't add Human Cannonball or Hang Tough or Breakthrough and Conquer, because to be perfectly honest, I don't think I could take another game, like more poorly done events. any more poorly done events. This is bad. This was a bad game. It was bad for the Super Nintendo. It was bad for the NES. It is bad for the Genesis. Like, the only Gladiator things worse than the Gladiators video games was the '08 US revival and the more recent Australian revival of Gladiators. This is terrible. And it's only worth it just to have in your collection because at least you get decent profiles of the Gladiators in the manual. Yeah, this is not fun. I would not recommend Gladiators whatsoever. I figure I saved this for last because I know a lot of people who watched this channel back in the day also watched how I talked about bad game shows, like Bad Hose, bad game show anything for that matter. And you could see that as a bit of a throwback, like, or a little bit of an insight as what I did. Playing these games and just being frustrated over it. And I was just done. I don't want to play these games ever again. And right now, I'm glad I'm done with Gladiators for the Genesis. It's worse than I remember. I don't know if the video's up anymore, but there was a YouTuber by the name of Teddy Rubskin who was like this teddy bear who is, you know, like an adult teddy bear. Think Ted. In that the Seth MacFarlane franchise, Ted. Just a little more gruffer. And smokes a lot more weed. And he did a really good review. Sure, he called himself this was also during the time when we had a bunch of angry video game nerd ripoffs. Actually, his wasn't a ripoff, it was more of an homage, because he actually talked about good Sega Genesis games as well. His whole thing was the Sega Genesis. And he hated it, and I hate it too. It's not good. However, I will say it is more comfortable hitting A and C at the same time to move in the Eliminator than the Super Nintendo did when you had to hit L and R. And I fear that I might have to break out the Super Nintendo, and I'm going to have to break out the Super Nintendo version again. One of the plans I had was to do Super Nintendo American Gladiators for C365. I might regret that, but at least it has a win condition. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed this little insight and joining me in this endeavor of all the Sega Genesis Game Show games. So I'd like to thank you for watching. Be sure, if you liked all of these Sega Genesis videos, leave a thumbs up and also comment on some of your memories on these Sega Genesis Game Show games. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're at over 4,000. I want to, hopefully, with some hard work and determination, we can get to over 5,000 by the end of 2014. Or who knows, maybe something magical might happen and the channel takes off and get a lot of subscribers, maybe hit 6,000 or something, I don't know. But also become a Patreon backer at patreon.com/GameShowGumbo to allow us to do more game show stuff. And I also want to thank these people right here who've stuck with us thick and thin. And really, we can't thank you enough. So, I'd like to thank everybody for watching. More game show, video game stuff coming up in the future. Stay tuned. Till then, bye, y'all.